It's deep dive time here on SportsBit. And like we enjoy doing one weekend a year, the weekend for the Academy Awards, I like to bring in an old friend and a legitimate Hollywood insider, Isaac Feeder. Isaac, welcome to SportsBit.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Teddy. It's great to talk to you today.
Yeah, I love the silhouette of you as Hitchcock. Obviously, looking to keep it low profile. Let's get right into it. 6 awards we're going to talk about: Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor and Actress, Best Picture, and Best Director. And when we take a look at the right off the top, it's all chalk, man. What's the deal with the Academy Awards with these huge favorites? It sounds like the markets know what's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah, Teddy, I mean, it's really true. This is one of those events where you're like the sharpie sharps, the guys who can really walk into a book and back a truckload of money up into the window to make that little bit of profit is typically who this event is for at this point. I mean, it is also the last award of the year. We've had the BAFTAs, the British Awards, we've had the Golden Globes, we've had the SAG Awards, we've had the DGA Awards, the PGA Awards. There's so much data coming into this event. It's really rare for there to actually be a shock or surprise at this stage of the game in Hollywood.
Sure. And of course, when we talk about betting on the Academy Awards, we're generally talking about fairly low limits and we're generally talking about bookies and offshore. Nonetheless, we've got lines. So let's get right into it. Best Actor, Gary Oldman, minus 1,000, and then 4 long shots. What's the story with Gary Oldman? Is he going to win this award?
Yeah, I wouldn't step in front of this. I mean, he won the SAG Award. He's won so many of these awards. This is probably also where he gets his award. I will say this is one where if you do want to have a little bit of fun, recently just a little bit of gossip because there is gossip. Gary Oldman, after winning the SAG Award, there was some backlash because he had some marital problems and there were rumors that he abused his wife. And there's a chance that the Academy might not want to celebrate him or enter into that. So Timothée Chalamet, who is a really exciting young actor, is considered like the second. He's got the second best odds. It's still a long shot at like 18-1. I don't like that one. The play I would consider is Daniel Day-Lewis at 40-1 in what he said is going to be his final performance of his career. He's probably the greatest actor of his generation. You might want to do that, but above all else, there's nothing wrong with staying out of the way or laying that 1,000 to win one with Gary Oldman.
So Daniel Day-Lewis, the long shot at 40-1, you think that is potentially live. What about for Best Actress? Frances McDormand, the big chalk here at minus 700. And I'm not used to seeing Meryl Streep at 80-1 to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
This is what she does, isn't it?
And it is what she does. There will be jokes. If there's any way to bet on how many jokes are made by how many nominations or wins Meryl Streep has, you take the over every time. But she's 80-1, even though she was outstanding in The Post. For some reason, that movie just did not get the love it was anticipating. It is a Best Picture nom. It is not a nomination for Spielberg. I can't really tell you why it didn't hit because it is very current about fake news and today's news, but this is one of those categories where, yes, I wouldn't step in front of McDormand at all. She's going to win her second Oscar. She's minus 700. There's no long shots in this category that I would invest in.
We're talking here, of course, with Isaac Feeder, longtime friend and longtime Hollywood insider. You can follow him on Twitter at Isaac Feeder. Real quick, Isaac, I don't want to spend too long on the Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress categories. We have clear chalk in both. Sam Rockwell for Best Supporting Actor. He's minus 700. Allison Janney for Best Supporting Actress. She's at minus 400. You're saying the chalk here is probably the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Rockwell's pretty much a lock. The only second position would be Willem Dafoe. Allison Janney also for sure. There might be worth playing a little bit of Laurie Metcalf or Leslie Manville, but Allison Janney and Sam Rockwell are likely the ones coming home with the Oscars that night.
Best Director, Guillermo del Toro, who's always fun to talk about, always fun to watch. He's huge shock for Best Director, minus 1,000. That's, to me, that seems really high given the nature of that award. What do you think? Del Toro,
Absolutely.
A virtual lock?
Yes, I think he is. I mean, the best indicator of the director award is the DGA award, and He's done that. Guillermo del Toro, I've been going to a lot of these screenings here in Hollywood, etc. He has put in the work. He's done the schmoozing. He's gone to all the events. He's done every Q&A. He's kissed every baby. This guy wants to win this award. And even to beat Christopher Nolan and Paul Thomas Anderson in this category, Greta Gerwig is a woman nominee, which is a very interesting story. But it's Guillermo del Toro's to lose. I don't see anyone else getting up to the podium that night.
So it comes down to Best Picture. We save this for last because it really is the most interesting decision. This isn't a situation where there's one picture as big chalk. 3 Billboards is the chalk, but Shape Out of Water, Get Out, both relatively short underdogs. What do you think is going to happen for Best Picture?
Yeah, and there's a reason that this is the most interesting category, and I also think it's the most competitive category for Sunday night. The way that new Best Picture is voted is it's ranked in a scale. You can nominate when you're an Academy member. You can rank your nominees. And sometimes the movie that gets more 2s for their second favorite does beat a 1 if they don't get a critical mass of first place votes from the Academy. If you would have asked me a month or 2 ago, I would have said Shape of Water was the favorite to win, and that's why it is still in play. But there has been a little bit of social change. 3 Billboards has become very current. After the tragedy in Parkland, Florida, a bunch of organizations bought billboards criticizing Marco Rubio. Even in the sports world, Philadelphia 76ers fans bought billboards outside of Cleveland to woo LeBron James and out of free agency. That movie is having a moment. It's going to likely win some acting awards. There is something very now about 3 Billboards, and that's why I'm not mad at laying a little bit of chalk with that to cash with 3 Billboards. That said, Get Out is a very interesting story. I don't know an Academy member who isn't putting that in their top 3. That movie made a lot of money. That movie is very socially relevant. With the success of Black Panther, with Oscars So White a few years ago, there's something about Get Out that people are really still talking about. It was lightning in a bottle. And if you want to have a good time on Oscar night, I wouldn't fault anybody for putting a little bit of money on Get Out as a nice long shot to take home the big prize.
Excellent information from Isaac Feeder. Isaac, we really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us here on SportsBit. How do folks get a hold of you? What do you want them to know about you, my Hollywood insider?
Oh, I love you, Teddy. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, follow me on Twitter at Isaac Feeder. You can follow me on Instagram at Fitzfeeder, Fitzfeder. I'm a showrunner and director. I'm lucky. I work a lot. Sometimes I post about what I'm working on. Sometimes I wait until it's coming out. I got a new show coming out on Complex, which is a digital network based on a hip hop magazine in June. I've got a show on cable right now on True TV. We're just keep it rolling, and I read you every day, and I follow your stuff, and I love following Picking Games with you.
The question is, you got to promote Life on the Line, man. That's your movie. It's the best sports betting movie of all time, right?
The best sports betting movie of all time, starring Teddy Covers, John Netto. My favorite movie having made. Yes, Life on the Line is available on Amazon. It is free to download if you want to check it out and watch it anytime. It's also on other VOD providers if you want to check them out as well. So please do so. Watch the movie. It is the most authentic movie about sports betting ever made, and we made it.
Thanks so much for joining us, Isaac. Really appreciate you joining the show. Best of luck this weekend. Hope you enjoy the Academy Awards.
Thanks. Be well, Teddy. Thank you.
Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.